We're here with Nikki Gokwan of the Premier's Office on Outreach, Community Outreach. Nikki, can you tell us what's going on with the Premier's Newcomer Summit and what's your take on this?
Well, this actually the Premier Summit has been ongoing for 4 years now, and continuously. This is the first time actually we're having the summit in Edmonton, and it's a good thing to have it in Edmonton so people can understand how the government is trying to bridge the gap between newcomers and their foreign credentials.
That's good.
Nikki, right now, what's one thing that your office finds challenging coming from the multicultural communities in adjusting to their new life here in Edmonton?
That's a great question. As you know, newcomers when they come into Canada, they're focused on stabilizing their stay here. So when I say that, they want to ensure that the next 6 months they'll have their place to stay, place to live, and they focus on integrating into Canadian society. Meaning, you have to understand the culture, you have to adjust to the food, the climate, and everything else. So it's very difficult actually for a newcomer when they come into Canada because their credentials are not recognized. So this is the reason why we have the Premier's Fairness for Newcomers Summit.
And where are we at so far in terms of the credentialing of the professionals coming in?
Well, as Associate Minister Yassin has said, we have gone a long way. They have put in a lot of work. The government has put in a lot of work into this to try to bridge the gap. And there are timelines set for the respective accreditation agencies or professional regulatory bodies.
For the people coming from the Filipino Canadian community, and especially the newcomers, what tips or a brief advice you can give?
Just like all the speakers in the room were talking about, it's about mentorship. You gotta find a mentor to help you. There are a lot of groups out there as well, newcomers group, that you can ask for help and guidance. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please reach out.
In today's activity, why this matters, why this is important?
This is important because a lot of the people come to Canada expecting better life. That's the truth to it, right? We come to Canada, we expect a better life, better opportunities. And we need to bridge that gap because a lot of our immigrants are having a hard time integrating into the Canadian society. Coming through, they've done their schooling, majority of them have finished their degrees. And when they come in, their degrees are not recognized here. Some of them doctors driving cabs, or nurses, doing maintenance job. So it's such a waste to see all these people not practicing their profession when we need it.
Is there anything you need to add or you want to add?
Well, honestly, Premier Smith and the government is doing a great job in helping bridge the gap for newcomers. And as Chief Minister Yassin has done a lot of work as well. And previous Minister Casey Madu has also done a lot of work.
Thank you.
To provide the tools, the training, the policies, and everything, and communicate that. Marjorie, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, for sure. I'm sorry, because each time I'm holding a microphone with the Filipino community, feels like it's karaoke time. So I have to remind myself that, Marjorie, you're not doing karaoke this afternoon. You're providing your expertise as a business owner. So my hiring. She's saying, go for it later. Okay, we can do that later, after. Anyways, so my hiring practices stem from my decision, right? To change my hiring practices came from my experience when I arrived in Canada 20 years ago. So on the third day, after applying for my social insurance number, so I was in Service Canada. Don't worry, I'm going to summarize it. Do you have 2 minutes or 3 minutes? So I started applying for work, and the first 2 applications were rejected right there and then. And I was like, may I know the reason for the rejection? Because you don't have no Canadian work experience. I said, oh, okay. But I said, okay, that's fine. time to, like, I have to have a strategy here, right? On the third interview, this time I told the lawyer, because I applied for a law office, I gave them the deal. I said, this is my education, these are my work experience back in the Philippines. Why don't you hire me? Give me a try for 90 days. And if within the 30 days I don't meet your expectation, fire me. And the rest was history, and I got my first job. So now that I own my business for 14 years, right, I don't ask for Canadian work experience. No. So what I would like to see competency. I would like to see transferable skills. I would like to see international experience. I would like to see soft skills, right? Time management. I'd like to see those. Okay, like, can you work with other, if you're a team player, you're a good team player, and most of all, our business is immigration consulting. We deal with immigrants. We deal with newcomers, right? So the empathy there is there, the patience is there, because they're not gonna come to us if they know the answer. If they know how the process works, they're not gonna hire us, right? So those are the attitudes, the characters, the skills that I will be looking for in my 14 years of business. And I can tell you, within the 14 years, all the people that I hired, all my employees, are all newcomers up to this time.
Wonderful, thank you. Sam, maybe for you as an employer as well, did you...
He just does an amazing job on this file. There are two events he looks forward to all year, and one is the Immigrant Impact Awards, and the other one is this one. And so I know that you were getting some great insights. He also said that last panel that you heard from is the hardest working panel he's ever worked with, and they have some wonderful recommendations that we're looking forward to reviewing and implementing. But Alberta depends on hardworking, ambitious people with big ideas and a love of freedom to power our economy. It always has, and it always will. And we should cooperate to ensure that they keep on coming. This also requires Ottawa to do its part right now, but fairness at the top is what's lacking. This is because previous federal immigration targets reached unprecedented levels while shifting priority away from skilled workers. And while they do that, communities and services are struggling to cope with the sheer number of recent arrivals. Our vulnerable populations are sometimes sadly being exploited. We've heard of newcomers buying jobs from unscrupulous recruiters, or on arriving to find the job that they had applied for was fake, leaving them no way to earn a living. Abuses like that undermine both the immigration system and trust in it. Newcomers from all backgrounds have helped to build Alberta's economy and strengthen that trust that holds our communities together. And we're committed to keeping it that way, by ensuring our services are not stretched beyond capacity and that the system remains fair for everyone. And to keep this province a fair, opportunity-driven place to raise a family, we must also strengthen the rules that protect those who come here with the promise of real opportunity. Our immediate solution is to strengthen the rules. That's why we introduced the Immigration Oversight Act earlier this month. If passed, this legislation will set clear standards for businesses looking to recruit and employ foreign workers in Alberta. And it will give us the authority to act when standards are not being met, to ensure that workers are protected and that employers obey the law. As part of this bill, we'll create a provincial registry for employers who wish to hire temporary foreign workers. And this is to ensure that employers offer real jobs and behave responsibly. This is important because the province's labour market has shortages in areas including healthcare, technology, aviation, agriculture, and construction. And to help address that, we select and nominate people for permanent residence in the province through the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. That includes streams for entrepreneurs, for healthcare workers, rural areas, and recently added tourism and hospitality. And we're putting it to good use. Last year alone, we maxed out our allocation, issuing over 6,600 nominations. We brought in hundreds of healthcare professionals, including nurses and doctors, as well as hundreds of construction workers, IT experts, and tourism and hospitality staff. As well, more than 1,000 nominations to support rural economies. We expect to hit the limit again this year with hundreds more nominations in everything from agriculture and manufacturing to healthcare and skilled trades. At the same time, we're maintaining supports for new arrivals. Alberta continues to fund programs to fill gaps and help them to find jobs and settle across the province. We're helping newcomers to get language skills evaluated and to learn English. We have workforce programs to help trained professionals get back on the job as fast as possible, and we're speeding up recognition of foreign credentials. Last year, we brought forward amendments to the Fair Registration Practices Act that reduce barriers for foreign professionals to work in Alberta. That includes preventing regulatory bodies from requiring Canadian work experience for registration unless it's for health and safety purposes. It sets a time limit for regulatory bodies when they're making decisions and applications. And those were some recommendations that came from the committee that Mohammed Yassin has been working with. We're doing everything we can to make immigration and settlement as clear, quick, and easy as possible for approved newcomers and potential employers. However, Ottawa is trying to compensate for past mistakes, and there's some good things that they have done to try to match the capacity of our economy and the capacity of our provincial programs to support newcomers by reducing the number of temporary foreign workers, by reducing the number of international students, by right-sizing the number of asylum seekers. That's all good. But where they're going in the wrong direction is that they have cut all provincial nominee programs in half. And sadly, it has also slashed funding for settlement services, and it's just unacceptable. These reductions hurt newcomers' abilities to integrate, to find work, and to build life in their new home. And I'm sure everyone here is seeing the results of that. With Ottawa moving in the opposite direction, pressure on your services is rising. And this is happening as labor shortfalls in critical parts of the Alberta economy are expected to extend into the next decade. We're meeting with the federal government and other provinces and territories to push for more provincial input into the immigration system and nomination levels that meet our needs. I think when Mohammed started down this path, truly, when he started down this path, we were asking for 20,000 provincial nominees. We managed to get them up to 9,700, and then they reduced it back down to 4,800, and then he kept lobbying and he got it back up to 6,700, but now we think it's probably more in the 20 to 30,000 range that we need. When we look at the backlog of people who've been applied for the program, I think we've got 40,000 applicants. And so you know that because you hear frustration from your clients saying, I'm here, I've got a job, I want to stay, why can't I get a nomination? And it's just simply because we don't have the number of nominees that we think we need. So we're going to continue working on that. Our longer term approach is to use all legal means to secure more control over immigration, like they do in Quebec. Quebec has had an accord since 1991 with Canada where they have total control over economic migrants, so they can match the needs of their province to the newcomers who want to make their homes there. The goal is to keep levels sustainable while focusing on key industries that need skilled workers. And we can and we will do better with a greater say on immigration, so stay tuned for more on that in the months ahead. And thank you again for doing everything that you do to help newcomers. Your work creates space for everyone to realize their dreams. It welcomes the next generation of talent, and it promises an amazing future. Alberta is very proud to support you and the work that you do.